Chapter 190. Part 4 of 6. It has to be the perfect moment. Nav's thoughts on ponies are still delicate. I can't just casually ask him out. Sure you can. Either he says yes or he says no. If he says no, you wait a few more months until he's been here longer and is more desperate and you ask again. If he still says no, he's gay and will let Rarity know so she can set him up with the perfect stallion. I'm extremely confident that Nav is straight, she said. I just don't think he's interested in other species, which I suppose I can understand. I just hope he gets over it, because the local human dating pool is non-existent. Maybe we should let Pinky take a crack at him, Dash said. After a night or two with her, he'll be a lot more open-minded. No, I want his first time with a pony to be special. Besides, he really doesn't seem to like Pinky. Nah, Pinky said he's just faking. I mean, she annoys me sometimes too, but no pony could ever dislike her. Now, if you want his first time to be special, you need to make sure it's with you. There's no telling what Luna might do to him after 1,000 years with no practice. That means you need to actually ask him out. The clock is ticking, Twilight. The princess won't wait forever. She won't. I've been stopping Nav from getting a few of her letters, including the invitation she sent him to the gala. After Nightmare Night, I told her about every other major festival Ponyville has, so she also knows it's coming up. Then you better think of a way to ask, and fast. Twilight sighed and hung her head. I know. The memory faded away, dropping us back in the maze. Luna and the other me were both gone. Luna did end up beating her to the punch, I said. I remember Twilight asking me what I was doing that day, now. She did seem more nervous than usual, and she also seemed very down when I told her that Luna already asked me to join her. Who would you have preferred? Reason asked. That's a very good question. At the time, I thought Twilight was annoying, preachy, short and narrow-minded, and kind of a bitch at times. I thought Luna was spooky sometimes, but the fact that she was a princess scared me even more. Luna's personality fit me better, but the thought of being a prince was way too much for me. Of course, the thought of being Nerdlight Sporkle's permanent magical experiment didn't appeal, either. Half the shit she asked me to do was horrifying and the other half was just dumb. I guess Luna, but only barely. The more I think about either option, the more I wish I had just settled on Fluttershy and dedicated my life to pacifism. And throw away all that you accomplished. Pride asked. I was going on the assumption that I had to pick. And if I had to pick, Fluttershy would probably have been it. Honestly, I thought most of them were trying to hook me up with her, not Twilight. I had no idea that everyone was in on it except me. To be honest, I'm surprised she decided to try and compete with Luna, though she definitely didn't try very hard. Obviously things turned out way better than if I had dedicated myself to Fluttershy and stayed away from all the trouble in the world. And how does the knowledge that your friends conspired against you like this make you feel? Fear asked. It's not surprising, I replied with a shrug. Though I wouldn't call this conspiring. It's mildly insulting in some respects, but it's honestly something I'd expect from the ponies. I took a lot away from the first memory, but this one didn't really do much for me aside from confirm a suspicion. Then shall we move on? My guide asked. 1 second. I walked over to Hope so I could pick her up and snuggle her. She was sitting there looking all cute and cuddly, so I just couldn't resist. As soon as I touched her, my mood soared and I felt like I could do anything. It might not be wise to touch those things, my guide decided to say after I touched one of them. Your cuddles are nice, Hope sighed. I hope they never stop. That sounded like a pretty good reason to stop. I set the filly back down. The euphoria immediately started leaving me. So what's next? I ask. Summer wrap-up, apparently. My guide and I found ourselves standing in front of a large Ferris wheel. Luna and the other me were just getting on. This is when Luna first tried really coming onto me, I said. She took me up there where I couldn't get away. The only reason she didn't manage to kiss me again is because she waited too long to seize her chance. I turned around before anyone could speak up, expecting to see some people behind me, but nobody was there. It scared you, Fear said from behind me. I turned around again and sure enough, there they were. This time it was just fear and pain. You felt utterly helpless. I could feel my heart sink straight through my stomach, I said. What she did utterly terrified me. And then Rainbow Dash came to the rescue, sort of. And then Luna sent an animal to attack you, Pain said. It bypassed everyone else and bounded straight toward you. She wanted a chance to save your life, to make you desire her. Fluttershy ran and hid, which is completely understandable. Dash went straight in the air. I tried to get Luna to fly with me, but she attacked instead. And instead of using magic to deal with it quickly, she tried showing off by kicking it. And then Dash accidentally hit Luna instead of the monster, letting it come straight for me. By the time Luna could save me, I was already unconscious. Your first real brush with death here in Equestria, Pain said. Your first wake-up call that maybe not everything in Equestria was as it seemed, especially given what happened when you saw Celestia and she confirmed that Luna did it on purpose, and then attempted to gain revenge with a moth. Oh, are we not gonna sit through that one? I ask. Awesome, I was hoping we'd skip it. So, what memory do we have with this one? I bet it's another Celestia and Luna one, isn't it? Luna's hoof reached up to poke me. Sure enough, it was another Celestia and Luna memory. This time, they were in their dining room. It looked like Luna might have been crying. I need you to tell me exactly what you've been up to and why, Celestia said. You're making things difficult. You told me to hasten things with Navarone. I attempted to do so. I failed. Exactly what you've been up to, Luna. And why? There's clearly more to this than my request. Your order. Or more like your threat. Celestia didn't rise to the bait, just lifted an eyebrow. The day of the festival, I went into the Everfree and enchanted a beast to attack Nav on my order. I tried to persuade Nav to work with me, but I failed. I called in the beast. I hoped that if I could save Nav's life, he would feel indebted to me. It did not work out. Clearly. Rainbow Dash accidentally hit you, leaving the monster clear to hit Nav. But that was not all. Why did you send that moth? Rainbow Dash was a threat to my pursuit of Nav. She needed to be put in her place. A little paralytic venom would slow her down for a while. Maybe give her a little perspective. You do have feelings for him, don't you? What? He knows you do, Luna. It was obvious as day, after you tried to kiss him again. He knows how I feel. Of course he does. Nav may be inexperienced, but he is no fool. Did he say? He's not interested. Horrified at the thought of it, to be honest. Put this silly crush of yours out of your mind, Luna. Even if he did return your feelings, it could never be. Horrified, she whispered. Oh, yes. Or at least, he seemed to be. I can see why he would be intimidated. What? Why? Because you're ancient. He's practically just a baby in comparison. You have to admit how immature he is. That would not be a good partnership. Put it out of your mind. Get back to thinking about how we can put him to use. If you find yourself incapable, I'll do it myself. And if I find myself incapable, then I will take it upon myself to make him disappear. Why can't you just leave him be? Any one being living in my kingdom who is not subservient to me is a threat, Luna, she said. Especially when that one being is an unknown species with unknown knowledge that comes from a world without royalty. Navarone is dangerous. He will either be put to use or he will be put down. So, are you ready to put this nonsense crush of yours behind you and get back to work? Fine. Her horn lit up and she vanished. Celestia shook her head and sighed. That poor human. I know. I'll send Twilight a letter. A pinky party would surely make him feel better. The memory faded away, revealing Pain hugging me tight. Ooh, you feel so wonderful, she whispered. As soon as she finished talking, my body started aching. I immediately pushed her away. Yeah, you're gonna need to stay hands off. So, once again, Celestia was a complete and total bitch. I'm very glad she's dead. And again, I kinda feel sorry for Luna, even though she got me attacked by an animal and attempted to poison Dashi. I had no idea she knew I was horrified of her. I can't believe Celestia treated her like this. It sure does explain a lot, though. How does this revelation affect you? The guide asked. It gives me more to talk to Luna about, but I don't know if I'd say it really affected me all too much. At this point, it's exactly what I was expecting. The two sisters were working together behind my back the whole time. At some point, Luna decided she wanted my hot monkey dick and she stopped trying to recruit me. That made Celestia irate, but apparently she still didn't actually want to make me disappear. If I remember right, this was around when I started thinking of Celestia as the more reasonable sister. Neither sister was the reasonable sister, Fear said. You learned that lesson far too late. I wouldn't say that. Celestia did a lot of horrible things to me, but I came out on top in the end. She didn't cause much physical harm, but she caused lasting mental and emotional harm, Pain said. She did. That's what we're here to fix. Now that I know she was conspiring against me from the start, I feel much better about what happened. For a while, I thought it was what I did with the Naga that piqued her interest in me, and that it was my own fault that I got stuck in Egypt. Why were you afraid of Luna's desires? Fear asked. Why were you afraid to return her love? I wasn't afraid to return her love, I said. I was afraid that I couldn't. At the time, I wasn't ready to love a pony. I felt that was unfair to Luna. Also, I actually was intimidated by the thought of an ancient goddess princess falling for me. I thought she was either making some kind of huge mistake or she was trying to use me. I didn't look quite as bad as a DeviantArt OC back then, so I didn't expect things like princesses falling for me. It was wise of you to think she was trying to use you, Pain said. After all, what else about you would attract anyone, let alone a princess? The fact that I'm a human and that they're half fae. That little bit of knowledge goes a long way to add perspective to everything that happened, and it gives me an idea for how to move forward. I think the fact that I'm so promiscuous is driving everyone even more insane than usual, because they think my affections are easy to gain and keep. I need to pick someone. Or more than one person, the guide said. As tempting as that is, I'm not sure even that would be a good idea, I said. Having two means more could always be invited in. For stability, I might need to marry exactly one. I'll have to decide that based on the memories I see. Now that I know what to look for, it should be more obvious. Why would you ever want to marry? Pain asked. It's not like anyone could ever stay with you, half fae or not. I don't think that's true, I said. There will be way too much pressure to keep things going, for political reasons if nothing else. That's why I need to make the right choice. This coma is giving me valuable perspective. Of course, that Celestia is no longer an option, my guide said. Nor is Luna, I would hope. No, but this is showing me why I need to get married. Celestia didn't have anyone as an equal to keep her centered through the ages. If I'm going to last anywhere near that long, I need someone I can intimately work with, especially if my very presence destabilizes everyone. That basically narrows the playing field to people who have the ability to live a while. Unless they're willing to take Jonathan as an elemental, which would let them live forever. Flo would like to interject for a moment, the guide said. Just to add some information. Jonathan's hosts lived forever because he took them over fully, including their minds. He could elongate Twilight's life for longer than a water, but she wouldn't be immortal unless he took her mind. Well, she doesn't need immortality, she just needs enough time to match me. Plus there's the necromantic option, if she can stomach it. Another offering, this time from Aqua, Taya knows how to make the seed potion. You could grant any partner of your choice the same immortality you have, as long as they're willing. End of Part 4.